second storyteller we have. I met her on stage performing amazing theatrics. I believe it was in Poor Richards years ago. She is a wonderful advocate for peace in our community, and she also is a wonderful storyteller. Mary Sprunger-Froese.
Thank you. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Sharon. And I'm glad I can't see you because it's much less scary that way. You're all in the dark, but probably not as much in the dark as I am. So. I teach English to refugees in School District 11. And the holiday I'm talking about is Thanksgiving. This is called ESL, English as a Second Language, although that's somewhat of a misnomer because many students actually have 2 languages or 3 before they come to learn English. Thanksgiving is a good holiday in the public school system because it's secular and it's American. So we tell our students that it's the time that the first people to immigrate here, or immigrants from England, decided to celebrate being able to survive in this land thanks to their hosts, the native peoples who helped them learn some skills and adapt to this new place. Although I tell my students even less and in simpler language than that. I teach beginners. Carmen, my cohort, teaches the intermediate classes. And though it's public school, we are hosted at First Presbyterian Church. They're our partner in this effort, and they're only 1 block from the bus station, which is great because our students take the bus. Also, Lutheran Family Services is a partner in this program because they help resettle the refugees when they first come into this country. Well, we told our students that we were going to have a Thanksgiving party, a Thanksgiving feast. And my students were excited, they like parties, and mostly they hear the word feast. Feast? And I had to say, no, feast. But if you don't have the ST sound in your language, it's much easier to hear feast. And not only that, it was going to be the first Thanksgiving feast. And that sounds like birds. Thanksgiving feast in this country. But we spit a lot in my class. We told them that the volunteers, the teachers, would be bringing the traditional gifts, turkey, cranberries, dressing, and we asked them to please bring a traditional dish from their country. Immediately, Padam pipes up, "Kheer, kheer," and I smiled. He knew how much I liked the sweet rice dessert that his wife had made several times and sent along with him to class. Padam is one of 12 Nepali students that I have among the 15. They're ethnic Nepali, but they lived in Bhutan until in the mid-80s. They were forced out. They were not allowed to be citizens. They were not allowed to have jobs. And so they lived in refugee camps in Nepal, where they also were not allowed to apply for citizenship. And therefore they applied to become for refugee status, which means a well-founded fear of persecution, according to the UN. The older people in my class spent 18 years in a refugee camp in Nepal. They're incredible survivors, and it's amazing how much joy they have. The women wear long skirts, very colorful, red, orange, saffron, and men usually wear Western dress with thin business suit coats that I guess were probably gotten at a thrift store. I also have an Iraqi man. He's only 26 years old. He came here without any family in this country because he'd been promised a sponsor. But when he showed up in Colorado Springs, his sponsor bailed. This doesn't happen very often, and he was in dire straits. But thanks to one of our wonderful volunteers, he was taken in, and she and her husband have helped him go to appointments and get his groundings here. Also, we have a woman named Jani Lin from Cuba, a young mother, but her children are still in Cuba. And the other person from a different country is Rusia, who's from Burundi. And she speaks Kirundi, her tribal language, as well as Swahili. So she's one of the English as a third language people. Our part of the program is going to be a song, because I said, you act, I sing. And I guess I had directed First Strike Theater, a local troupe here, for 13 years, and once a director, always a director, except for my own life. But I love directing other people. So this was one way to not have to learn too many words, or at least not to have to speak them. I told them that we were going to sing the song at the beginning, and they had heard the words, say grace. I said, what that means is thank you. Whether we say namaste, shukran, God, this is my one note. Orakuse. It all means thank you. So Monday, they were all there. We were going to have this party on Thursday. I gave them the words, as we come around to take our places at the table, and we have round tables. So this was excellent. A moment to remember and reflect upon true wealth. Wealth was a foreign word, probably in any language in that classroom. But I said, it says true wealth, and the next line says, here's to loving friends and family. And I said, that's how we are wealthy. We have loving friends and family. Here's to being able to gather here together in good company and health. And you are all good company. May the light of love be shining deep within your spirit. May the torch of mercy, torch of mercy, talking about that in a beginner's class is ridiculous. But I had pictures of the Olympic torch, so we passed those around. And then when we got to mercy, Vicky, one of our volunteers, said, go ahead. And I acted like I broke her glasses. And instead of her saying, $200, go to jail, she said, okay, you're my friend. And then we looked at the students and said, mercy. May the torch of mercy clear the path and show the way. May the horn of plenty sound. And I know I don't usually think about horn of plenty as sounding, but I picked it up and told them that it was a horn in the olden days. And I just demonstrated. Said, may it sound till everyone can hear it. May the light of love be with you every day. Well, that took a 2-hour chunk of time. And I thought, well, at least we're on the same page now. Next day, Tuesday, time for choreography. And that involves basically one candle, one wine glass, one student. And these were candles from the thrift store and dollar store, candle holders, wine glasses from the bargain box. And I told them, we won't have wine, but, it's tea. Well, there were only 9 students, or 10 students, 5 were missing. I thought this will be interesting when we actually perform it, because we had no idea how many students will be there on Thursday. But we walked through the steps, and we said, at the beginning, you walk up to your place at the table. They knew place, because we had talked about placemat, place, and pull the chair out, sit down, push the chair in. You have to do that by the first 2 lines of the song. Well, Norma, one of our volunteers, noticed that they were having a lot of chair collisions. And she said, I think you should tell them to enter on the right side of the chair, which is an excellent suggestion, and because they are learning right and left, they were able to do that. So they all got there after 2 lines. After that, they needed to raise their wine glasses and clink. I said, I think it will be 3 times, clink, 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 and then the candle lighters will light your candles by the time we get to the last 2 lines. So we have these little gas guns, and I chose Bed, who's one of the kind of elder statesmen of the class, very tall and serious, and Purna B. Purna B, there's a Purna A, and they both have the same last name, and they're not willing to use their middle names. So Purna A is the one who came first, and Purna B came a day later. So Purna B is short and animated, and she's the other candle lighter. Well, they did very well with this, all 10 of them. The next morning, we had about 12 students and 1 missing who had been there the day before. So we tried to run through this again, but all of a sudden we have a new student, and I look and I say, "Hi, I'm Mary. What's your name?" And she has a faint smile and says nothing. I said, "Where are you from?" No answer, but a smile. And we find out that this is Kausila, and she too is from Nepal and knows no English. But in a matter of minutes, she watched very intently and was doing exactly what the other students were doing, blended in perfectly. And I thought, if anybody walked in, they would think, she knows Torch of Mercy. The next day, Thursday, we showed up. The students arrived with their fragrant dishes to the social center at First Press. They saw the volunteers putting the little clementine oranges in the horn of plenty, and that's one of their favorite fruits. They brought in steaming pots of noodles, 6 different varieties of curry. There was the kheer. There was something from Africa that had rice and some kind of green sauce, and then biryani. I saw that Allah, who's only 26, had decided to lean on the mother figure in the next classroom, and she made this beautiful Iraqi dish of what is it? Chicken, rice, and almonds, and it's just, the presentation was like artwork on a plate. So, who wanted to rehearse? But we went up to the stage to rehearse, and what happened was that we were missing a wine glass. I thought, oh no! So, unfortunately, Ganga Maya got a quickly retrieved plastic glass. Turns out we had 2 tables, so suddenly I had to divide the group into 2. Rusia was now one of the lighters, and so was Bola. Well, we got through the first run of that, and Rusia says, I'm sick. And she had been sick for 3 days, but had been determined to come anyway because she didn't want to ruin her perfect attendance. This time she was serious, and a volunteer had to take her to the bus station. So I just was hoping that Bola would know how to light the candles at his table very fast. Soon Lisa calls us all together and says, everyone, it's time to gather, and here are the beginner class. So I start strumming. As we come around to take our places at the table, a moment to remember and reflect upon true wealth. They're all at their places. They are sitting there. Here's to loving friends and family. They live to their classes. They clink. Here's to being able to gather here together in good company and health. Now, the candlelighters spring into action. May the light of love be shining deep within your spirit. May the torch of mercy clear the path and show the way. Now, may the horn of plenty sound till everyone can hear it. And they're raising their candles to each other. May the light of love be with you every day. Some of them jump the gun, but they're raising their candles to the audience. May the light of love be with you every day. They take their steps off the stage and they go down and put their candles on each waiting table. Soon we're eating. There's a lot of laughter. There's some halting conversations. There's snippets of Kirundi, Arabic, Nepali, Spanish, Russian. And before long, someone has downloaded a few raucous Nepali tunes from one of the young person's cell phones. I look, and believe it or not, there is the stockiest, stolid, most straight-faced student I have, Budiman, and he's boogieing. Budiman boogies! He stomps, he sways, and beside him is Devi, who is swirling and doing these amazing, intricate, spiral, sinewy things with his hands. Padam jumps into the action, and soon the women are clapping and laughing. Namaste, shukran, orakase. Amen.